Welcome once again. This is Dibia Nwangwu Chendo. Ndị be anyị ndewono. Nke onye chiri nya zere. Kedu ka unu mere tata? Kedu ka ekesi anya anwụ? I would like to send a shout out to my listeners. I would like to thank you for always listening to my program. I'll thank you for joining me, and also I want you to know that I appreciate every time you come online to listen to Dibia Nwangwu Chendo. Ka Chineke gozikwa unu, ka ezumezu na ọra mmụọ niile so unu bịa ụwa, nke si ikwu nne na nke si ikwu nna unu, ka ọ na-agọzi unu. Ndụ mmiri, ndụ azụ, mmiri atana ma azụ anwụ na. A sị na ụzọ mmiri ada echi echi n'ọkwụgwọ gbuzuo chakee, na ugo chara acha adịghị echu echu. Ụzọ mmiri amaka. Egwu adị atụ afọ wee buru ụzọ. Igbo si na nkiri nkiri ka a na-ekiri ododo, mana ejiri ododo enyi ụzọ kwani ya. Welcome. Well, I would love you to know this, that ordinary amaka. Ordinary is good, especially when you keep to the do's and don'ts. When you keep to the nsọ and iwu dị n'ime ordinary, you will enjoy it. Because the reason why many people run away from ordinary spirituality is because they are not disciplined. It is because they don't have love for their fellow human. It is because they normally feel free to, desecrate and talk nonsense all the time about traditional religion. Well, let me not call it traditional religion. It is ordinary spirituality. But when you use religion, people tend to listen because it's the opium of the masses. Well, ordinary is not an opium. It is our way of life. And if you go deeper, you will see that if you are an ordinary adherent, you will live long. You have to respect boundaries. You have to respect the gods. You have to respect ndị ichie. You have to honor them. You have to acknowledge your chi, your ndị mmiri, ajani, Chineke. It is veneration of nature. Well, let me introduce you to today's topic. Today we are going to discuss about spiritual husband. Spiritual husband in Igbo language is known as Dimmiri. Many people come to me, they tell me they dream where they are making love with a man. Sometimes the man comes to them, appears to them, and sit beside them on the bed. Sometimes they say they have, sometimes they say they don't know if they have, but they usually see a man coming to meet them in the dream. Not only to sleep with them, but, have a discussion. It's just like a husband. Do you understand? So many people have different encounters, and they always want to know what it is all about. So you can have a spiritually active husband, or sometimes he can be there but inactive. Well, spiritual husband is the marine spirit that follows you from your spiritual lineage. He can be called your spiritual mentor too. Yes, he's a spiritual mentor for those of us who are called to serve. Are you listening? If you establish a relationship with him, he is the one that comes out in the spirit to tell you what to do. Sometimes he directs you in your spiritual journey. Sometimes he comes to reveal to you what a spiritual walk is all about. Sometimes he comes to discuss with you and tell you things because you have that connection. Any Obanje has a spiritual husband. And we have types of spiritual husband. All right? So, this spiritual husband is the marine spirit that follows you from your spiritual lineage. He can be called your spiritual mentor too. Every female has a concrete agreement from her spiritual world with her spiritual mentor. The marine mentor is the only spirit that has direct contact with every female. That is why it is very hard to break the spiritual husband contact. You can say that spiritual husband is the only strongest male spirit that protects every female. Only if you are in good terms with him. Now, did you hear this word? Only if you are in good terms with him. Religion has taught us that this is evil. And people go to church. They bind, they cast, they fire, they bulldoze, they bomb their spiritual husband because you were told that he is evil. You are told that he is bad. This is someone who has been with you from your spiritual lineage till you reincarnated and you came back to this world. So how is it possible for you to disentangle with him? It is not possible. All right? No matter the fire, no matter the water, no matter the whatever prayers you do, he can simply go away and wait for you outside the church. Or he might return that fire for fire. That is why sometimes when women say they are going for deliverance, after everything, you come back the second day to continue from where you stop. Don't be surprised that that prayer warrior, that pastor, or that prophet will ask you to go back. That he's not continuing with the prayer anymore. Do you know why? He has been attacked. Your spiritual husband has returned back fire for fire. So there is no way he can say that he's continuing with that prayer. Of course, that prayer is just like an abomination. Because it's not possible to separate from your spiritual family. It is not possible at all. So that is why I encourage people not to do any separation work. And what do you mean by separation? Separation is disentangling from him so that you no longer have anything to do with him, either in the future or in the now. But it's not possible. Let us be honest. Any spiritualist, any dibia that tells you that they can separate you from your spiritual husband is a liar. So know it today. You cannot separate from him. He is part of your family from the water, your marine family, your marine husband. So why will he disturb? When he starts disturbing is when you do not acknowledge him, when you are ignorant of his existence, when you don't know what to do to connect with him, when you do things that annoy him, like most women who go around sleeping with different kinds of men, your spiritual husband will never be happy with you. When you prostitute your body up and down, your spiritual husband will never be happy with you. When you do things contrary to your marine family, your spiritual husband will never be happy with you. There are things you should observe as someone who is connected with water or connected from water. Everybody has water in their body, because most times people tend to think that it's those with water element that only have spiritual husband. I said earlier that there are categories of spiritual husband, but I don't want to delve into that. I will just treat it as a general topic. All right? So, even if you are earth element, fire element, air element, water element, you have a spiritual husband. As long as that connection is there, everybody has water in their body. You have spiritual husband from the water, you have the one from the land, you have the one from fire or sun, you have the one from air, ikuku. So you should know that they have categories. It is not only people who are one miri, like they use the term, that have spiritual husband. So if you don't acknowledge your spiritual husband, it brings a lot of problem for you. That is why a man will date you, and at the end of the day, he will discard you like filth, like a piece of rag. Sometimes they appear to the man and you will not even be aware of that. Sometimes your spiritual husband appears before your boyfriend or your husband and fights with them. They are so powerful that they can beat a man up. Beat that your boyfriend up or your husband. They can cause stagnation. They can cause him to go bankrupt. They can even kill if they are so jealous and possessive. Sometimes they make people to hate you because they don't want bad people around you, or because they are angry with you because you have not acknowledged them. Spiritual husbands, they are so protective that they are misunderstood physically. You misunderstand because you say, he doesn't want me to get married. I have been losing relationship. I have bad luck. I have this, I have that. No, it's not like that. It is when you acknowledge him that you will have peace, that things start going well. Even that your spiritual husband will go and bring a good physical husband for you to marry. He will make sure your relationship works out well. That is after you must have aligned and appeased him. And also some demand a day of honor in your life. That day of honor is just to acknowledge him and keep that day sacred. No sex, no form of, intimacy with another man. It's just for him alone. To acknowledge him and honor him for being in your life, for being part of you, even though he is still in the spirit realm, but physically, you are acknowledging him by giving him that day of honor and respect, for you to enjoy that relationship with him and for him to be at rest with you. There is nothing difficult in doing that. So, even if you are having sex in the dream, that issue of having sex with him in dream is his spiritual right to show you that you have a binding link with him through the issue of having sex in dream. It is the sign that you have a spiritually active husband, because if there is nothing like that, you will never experience his presence. You are spiritually strong. It is because of your spiritual husband. Are you listening? If you are spiritually strong, it is because of your spiritual husband. He is your backbone. For those of us who are called to serve and others who are not, they go out and fight for you. Well, some will term what I'm saying as demonic and evil because they are ignorant. They are not spiritually inclined. They lack this knowledge. You see, before you listen to a spiritualist, you must have a certain awareness. You should know that what you are listening to is coming from a spiritual dimension. Because most people judge us with their physical heart or mind or spirit or soul and body. But know that whatever is Dibia is talking, the Dibia is talking from a spiritual dimension, spiritual angle, spiritual consciousness, spiritual inclination. So you don't go ahead and start judging that this woman is demonic, this woman is evil, how can she say this, how can she even mention it? Is she okay? Is she not mad? Well, I'm very, very normal, all right? I'm permitted to teach you about these things that you feel is demonic and evil. So many people see them physically. There are times, there was a girlfriend of mine, she used to complain to me that whenever she thinks about something, that it manifests. And I asked her, what do you normally think about? She said sometimes if she has a need, maybe of money, maybe of books or clothes, anything, that once she thinks it in her mind, after 1 week or before 1 week, let's say 3 days, that she will have a dream that a man visited her and this man will gift her something in the spirit. Then physically, somebody will gift her same thing too. You know, I laughed. I told her, it's possible you have a spiritual family. She said, how come? I said, yes, because they are always with you. That is why when you dream of having those things, they manifest. And how do they manifest? They come to her spiritually, then it manifests physically. That man that comes to her is her spiritual husband. But I don't want to scare her because most people are not matured enough to take this. They might say, oh, you are even the one that gave them that spiritual husband. You know how funny people can be. So she noticed this and she experienced it continuously to the point that she became scared. And she said she wish she doesn't think about all those things so that it will not manifest and scare her. Well, I told her to continue with her life, that's the way Chineke made her to be, that there is nothing bad there, that she should use that opportunity to think about bigger things, you know. Let us try powers and see if it's real. Of course, it's real. So it got to a point that she started noticing that her relationship never works out. Do you understand? And that is when her spiritual husband wants her to be aware of his existence. So he kept scaring away men from coming to marry her. Of course, you know these men now, they will always come for sex. They will want to test even before they marry. So her spiritual husband does not want that, because it's just like desecrating, you know, his wife, even though she's the one that reincarnated and is living as a living being here on earth. Because the connection is spiritual. Do you understand? They are not the same. The one that lives in the water that comes with an obanje, and also, you know, we have types of obanje miri, obanje enuan. Do you understand? Obanje udala. We have a lot, they are type, you know, but some will tell you that we have only 2 types. All right, it depends from the dimension that they are operating. It depends on their level of spirituality. So what am I saying in essence? When the time approached for her to be, you know, aware of his existence, he started manifesting in that way. He normally chased away suitors that want to marry. to marry her. So it got to a point that she became angry and frustrated. She came to me. She told me she doesn't know what happened, that anytime she's in a relationship, once the man talks about marriage and she agrees, the next minute she will hate the man. The physical suitor, that's who I'm talking about. So I'm like, that something is wrong. Oh. How come? If you accept a marriage proposal, the next thing you hate the man. You don't want to go on anymore. That something is definitely wrong. Then, when did you notice all this? She now told me. I said, okay, no problem. We have to do consultation. So she paid for consultation, because most people, you think that once you come to a dibia, the dibia will start consulting for you without you making payment. It's very necessary, because the spirits that reveal things to you, they are always appeased to the extent that they divulge all this information. Ọ bụrụ na ike aka mmadụ ka o ji agbanya bụ afa, enwere mmụọ na-abịa ekwu okwu for ndị akpọrọ oku. Unless ma onye anwa na-akpọrọ ya oku, o meghe ọnụ ọ gwa gị ife sọlị ya. But for us, we know what it is. All right? Let me not digress. So, after the spiritual consultation, I discovered that, yes, she has an active spiritual husband. And we went ahead to resolve our issue. The process and everything it took is not something I will come on air here to divulge. All right? A na-akụzi nkụzi ọdịnala a, enwere boundary. That is what some of our dibias do not know, and what some of you do not know. Because when you are listening, you expect to hear everything verbatim, so that you go in a hurry and put yourself in harm's way. I am always spiritually sensitive. I'm always conscious of the information that I give out. Enwe ife ofeke ga-eje mee, onbutele onwe nsogbu. Ofeke is that person without a spiritual consciousness that does not know anything about the spiritual realm, or the person who is not a dibia. Let me put it that way. It is not everything you see you copy, even on internet, or you hear, you quickly go and start practicing. Why I'm discouraging you from doing that is because most of you have not known your spiritual guides. Most of you are not clean or sanctified or holy enough to communicate with them. Take, for example, you have been stealing, you have been lying, you have been killing people, or maybe through abortion for women. You have committed incest. You are not worthy to go before any spiritual guide. Know it today. You have to do spiritual cleansing, ask for forgiveness, appease them before you can be able to stand before any of them or call on them and expect answer. That is why I always caution people. After reading some certain information online, maybe about water sacrifice or water appeasement, you rush, you go to the water. You are not clean, you are not sanctified. Maybe you just finished having sex with a woman or a man. You rush to the river. You will have problem. And many of you don't know that there are different kinds of rivers. It is not all river that is benevolent. Ọbụrụ mmiri niile na-eme ebere. Enwe mmiri dị njọ. Enwe mmiri ọ ga-abụ ije olie gị. Maka na ịmara ma ikwesị ije ebe a ma ọ na ikwesịrọ. Then do you know the river you are going to, or mmiri sochi gị? Is it that river that requested for your presence? That is why spiritual consultation is good. You don't take decision in a haste. You don't take decision because you got some certain information and you say you are good to go. You want to do this and gain favor. Sometimes we bring problem to ourselves. So after that spiritual consultation, I told her what to do. She said, all right, that when she's ready. Then when she became ready, she had to come back and we have to go to the river and do her Ibu Mmiri. You know, Ibu Mmiri is different from Iloma Mmiri. So that is it. Your spiritual husband is part of your marine family. The way you have a family here on earth, that's the same way you have your own spiritual family in water. There are no two ways about it. Enwe ụmụ ikolobịa, enwe ụmụ agbọghọbịa ndị mmiri, enwe ndị ichie ndị mmiri. Then if you are naturally crowned a queen, you should know that definitely you have a husband in water or from water. On land, same thing. There is no element that is not prone to having a spiritual husband. You should know this today. So this is not a matter of binding and casting. This is not a matter of releasing fire. This is not a matter of kabashing. This is not a matter of ropo rababababa. No. That is why I love Ordinary Igbo spirituality. There is a solution to every problem, no matter whatever it is. Nani fi gemebu gije yobachigi to come across a good dibia, not the one that is money conscious. But you know that money, you use money to solve problems, because the dibia is not going to buy spiritual materials by himself or herself with her own money. No. And please, even if you are charged for spiritual work, there is room. It is open for negotiation. You have to negotiate the price or bargain. Do you understand? That aside, you should know that your spiritual husband deserves to be acknowledged. So he won't trouble you. So he won't cause childlessness or infertility for you. And when they are so strong that once a woman takes in, if the woman is married, they remove that child. Any attack, they remove it. It depends on how strong that spiritual husband is. And when can we go on affliction? Because over the years, over time, they have been giving you the sign and you are aware. Some, their own husband, spiritual husband, come out physically. They see them. But you yourself, you can't see them. Like this, my girlfriend that wishes everything and it comes to pass. Sometimes she sees money in her room. And she'll be like, where did this money come from? I think those are parts of the things that started scaring her. And that was enough evidence for her to know that she has an active spiritual husband. Some of them can be active, some will be inactive. Probably when you want to take that decision in your life, they don't want you to sever that tie. That is when they start attacking your relationship. For you to know that they exist, they have always been with you. Sometimes when people look for your trouble and you cry and you become sad, you don't know what happens the next minute. They are the ones that go out spiritually to deal with that person who has offended you. They might come out in the dream and panel beat that person. For making you angry, for pissing you off, from provoking you or even maltreating you. Once the person wake up immediately, the person will know that it's because not offended somebody. Of course, now they will know. If you offend someone, of course, your conscience is there to judge. Except that person pushes the conscience behind to numb it so that they won't feel guilty. They are warriors. They are protectors. Your spiritual husband are your warriors.